officer had to arrest and detain the defendant. Number one. Number two, Your Honor, you'll see from the video that at no point in time was Mr. Jordan Davis doing anything remotely coming close to evading arrest or detention. Not even fleeing. You'll see from the video that at all times, Mr. Davis was driving either at the speed limit or below. He wasn't weaving within traffic. He wasn't causing any accidents. He wasn't turning off his lights or causing a high-speed chase.
A traffic stop becomes a full bench trial when Jordan Davis gives up a jury and puts the decision directly in Judge Boyd's hands. The state says the delay matters. The defense says the details matter more. No high-speed chase, no weaving through traffic, hazard lights on, a search for a safer place to stop. But in Judge Boyd's courtroom, the question is simple. Was this caution or was it evasion?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Davis, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Jordan Elijah Davis.
All right, Mr. Davis, you do realize that you have a right to a jury trial?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's that the court has received a waiver of trial by jury and you're asking to proceed with a bench trial. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that means that I will hear whatever evidence is presented and make a decision on whether you're guilty or not guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, did you go over this waiver of trial by jury with your client and do you believe he understood it?
Yes, Your Honor, we reviewed it yesterday. He signed it yesterday, and it is his desire to enter into a bench trial.
And state you signed the waiver of a trial by jury as well? All right, the court will find that the waiver of trial by jury has been voluntarily given and signed by the defendant and also signed by the state and the defense. State, you may proceed.
In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury of Adair County, state of Texas, duly organized and paneled and sworn as such at the March term AE 2024 of the 187th Judicial District Court of said county in said court at said term do present in and to said court that in the county and state aforesaid and anterior to the presentment of this indictment on or about the 4th day of March 2024, Jordan Davis, hereinafter referred to as defendant, while using a vehicle, did intentionally flee from a person, namely S. Enriquez, a person the defendant knew was a peace officer who was attempting lawfully to arrest and detain the defendant against the peace and dignity of the state.
How do you plead to that?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
All right. Any opening statements?
Yes, Your Honor, very briefly.
All right, you may proceed.
What the evidence will show is that this is not the most egregious evading in a vehicle case that this court will encounter. The evidence will show that Mr. Davis did not speed egregiously, did not weave in and out of traffic. It will only show that when Deputy Enriquez activated his patrol vehicle's emergency overhead lights to lawfully detain Mr. Davis, that Mr. Davis did not give prompt attention and stop when signaled. That is plain in a vehicle. It's not the worst, but it's still what he did. And after the court hears the evidence, the court should find him guilty of the offense.
Defense, any openings?
Yes, Your Honor. In the rush to judgment, Your Honor, the state gives themselves an added burden to their already high burden. For example, whereas the Texas Penal Code 3804, evading arrest or detention, states that.
I'm sorry, just one moment. Excuse me, on the back row. You all are talking too loud and you need to just ask the deputy to move you all to the other end. All right, I'm sorry. Could you start with the code section you're citing, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. Texas Penal Code 3804 that talks about evading arrest or detention. The code states that a person commits an offense if he intentionally flees from a person he knows is a peace officer or federal special investigator, attempting lawfully to arrest or detain him. The added burden that the state has given themselves this morning is that the indictment says, and I'm paraphrasing, a person the defendant knew was a peace officer who was attempting lawfully to arrest and detain him. So the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this officer had to arrest and detain the defendant. Number one. Number two, Your Honor, you'll see from the video that at no point in time was Mr. Jordan Davis doing anything remotely coming close to evading arrest or detention. Not even fleeing. You'll see from the video that at all times, Mr. Davis was driving either at the speed limit or below. He wasn't weaving within traffic. He wasn't causing any accidents. He wasn't turning off his lights or causing a high-speed chase. At one point during the follow, Your Honor, Mr. Jordan Davis goes so much as to turn on the hazard lights to let the officer know where he's at and that he is looking for a place to park. And this is important because you'll see in the video that during the 2 miles that the stop is Mr. Davis is trying to find for a safe place to stop, he's in a construction zone. He's not going, or he doesn't stop in an area that's safe to him. He eventually stops in an area that is safe, well lit, and away from traffic. It may not be to the officer's liking that it took him 2 miles to stop, but nonetheless, at no point in time was Mr. Davis doing anything remotely close to fleeing. He wasn't doing anything remotely close to evading arrest or detention. The evidence will show the court that, again, Mr. Davis wasn't speeding, wasn't weaving, he wasn't driving while intoxicated, he wasn't dashing in through traffic to avoid the officer. He was simply looking for a safe, well-lit place to stop, which he did.
All right, state, call your first witness.
Big calls, Deputy Enriquez.
All right, Deputy Enriquez.
Down in the hall.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. All right, and everyone, we'll bring you back at 1:30. Oh, if you all would like to, you can take a seat or either we can remain up here. My understanding it's one witness.
I'm fine up here, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. If you'll take a seat, please. Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record, please.
Deputy Stephen Enriquez.
All right, state.
Deputy Enriquez, who are you currently employed?
With the Beard County Sheriff's Office.
Can I get you to take this? And Cindy, do you need a microphone for the? All right, thank you.
Judge, my client.
All right, if you all want to sit, you can sit. If you want to stand up here, you can stand up here. All right, state, it's your witness.
Or do you need me to repeat my last question?
I have how you employed.
Right. Deputy Enriquez, please answer the last question.
Yes, I'm employed with the Beard County Sheriff's Office
As well.
as a deputy sheriff on patrol.
How long have you been employed with Bear County Sheriff's Office?
Going on 7 years.
And on March 4th, 2024, how were you employed?
As a deputy sheriff on patrol.
And on March 4th, 2024, what were your patrol duties?
Just patrolling the district of Delta 30, which is commonly the Culebra area. Searching for crime prevention and responding to calls for service.
The district of Delta 30, is that in Bear County?
Yes, sir.
And what was the time of your patrol?
From 11 p.m. until 7 a.m.
And at approximately 0:35 hours, 35 minutes after midnight, did you see a vehicle that caught your attention?
Yes, sir.
What vehicle was that? If you recall.
Don't recall right now, but I do have the report here, if I can refer back to that.
Please do.
Judge, I would ask the witness be instructed to refresh his memory from the report, not read verbatim.
All right, officer, you're allowed to refresh your memory from the report, but do not read directly from it.
It was a red four-door vehicle.
And what about that vehicle caught your attention?
As it was approaching me, it did have its high beams on and it had 3 lights on instead of all 4.
Which light was not on?
It was the passenger side and the outside.
Was that the headlight?
Yes, sir, correct.
So after perceiving the high beams on and the headlight out, how did you proceed?
I conducted a U-turn as the subject was going the opposite direction of myself. And I proceeded to catch up to that vehicle as it was ahead of another vehicle.
And did you activate your patrol vehicle's emergency overhead lights?
At that time, I did not because it was coming up to a red light and I didn't want to conduct a traffic stop over with an active red light.
What happened next?
I pulled up next to the vehicle just to see if the vehicle had a seatbelt on or anything like that. And I did do a inquiry into the vehicle's license plate.
What did you learn?
Everything was up to date as far as the entrance and the registration. All I had was the defective equipment at that point in time, along with the transportation violation with driving with the high beams on.
Did the light eventually turn green?
Yes, sir, it did. At that point, I got behind the vehicle and activated my emergency lights, which activates my fleet camera.
Now, your fleet camera, does it begin recording when you turn on your emergency overhead lights?
It does, but it also records 30 seconds prior with no audio.
Understood. Permission to approach you on?
Granted.
Deputy. Showing you what is marked at state exhibit 1. Do you recognize this?
Yes, sir, I do.
Can you tell the court what it is?
It's the body worn camera to my front dash.
And how do you know that it is?
It states it on there along with my signature.
Have you reviewed this? Have you reviewed the contents of this disc?
Yes, sir, I have.
And to the best of your knowledge, have there been any alterations or edits to it?
No, sir.
And is it a true and accurate depiction of the events that were recorded by that device on that date?
Yes, sir.
Permission to tender to defense counsel for inspection.
Your Honor, no objection to states number 1.
All right, state's exhibit number 1 is admitted without objection.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
Granted. Do you need the mouse?
Only if I want to play the video here.
Yes.
Your Honor.
You're welcome. Oh, if they want, just let them know that they'll need to be back at 1:30. Thank you.
At this point in the recording, have you activated your emergency overhead light?
Yes, sir, I have.
Did you at any point activate any other signals to indicate to this vehicle that you initiated a detention?
Yes, sir. As it passed multiple spots to pull over, that's when I activated my audible siren just to catch his attention.
Now, I'm stopping here. What to the left of this intersection did you see?
It was an empty road that he could have pulled over to the left or to the right.
Was it lit?
No, sir.
Now, Deputy, do you see these buildings
Yes.
in the recording? What are?
Yes. It's a shopping center with a gas station and a McDonald's.
In your opinion, is it well lit?
Yes, sir.
From this intersection, are those buildings accessible to your view?
Yes, sir. There was also an accessible right there between the break and the barriers, so a dirt road thing to go into that, section.
And do you see additional buildings here?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what those buildings were?
That's a car wash.
So the vehicle that you're following turns. Could this vehicle have access these
gonna
buildings
object to
to either the left or the right?
Object to speculation, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Would you have been able to access these buildings to either the left or the right?
Yes, sir.
Now, these buildings to the left, can you tell us what those are?
Those are apartment complexes.
And do you consider this to be a well-lit area based off of what you experienced?
Yes, sir.
Now, these lights here,
Yes, sir.
what is this area?
That's an elementary street.
Was it accessible to you at this intersection?
Yes.
And based on what you can see, is this a well-lit area?
Yes.
At 4 minutes and 36 seconds. Now, deputy, did the vehicle eventually come to a stop?
Yes, sir.
Did you contact the operator of that vehicle?
I did from a distance.
And did that vehicle operator identify himself?
At the time, he did not.
Eventually, did he identify himself or did you identify him?
Yes, sir, I did.
Which one?
He identified himself. Once he found out he was under arrest, I did after his name did.
And how did he identify himself?
Vocally.
What did you say his name was?
Jordan Davis.
And do you see the person that you arrested in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir, I do.
Would you please point that person out by their position in the courtroom and by a particular article of claim?
Sir, he's standing to the left of the judge in a black hat and a white shirt.
Thank you. And just to reiterate, all of the events, did they occur in Bear County?
Yes, sir, he did.
Thank you. Pass the witness.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Judge. Officer Enriquez, good morning. Good morning. My name is Alfonso Cabañas. I'm going to be asking you some questions. I'm going to start off by asking you some questions that came about from the state's questions to you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, can I go
Yes.
watch the video?
Sure. And the mouse should still be there.
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Officer, maybe just. Oh.
And I'm sorry, Alfonso, do you have on the microphone for the court reporter? Thank you. It's so she can hear it through her headphones.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? So starting stated exhibit number one, officer at 2 seconds, just to make sure I have my notes correct. At this point in the video, this is the dash cam from your patrol car.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And my client's car is to your immediate left.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
right?
Yes.
Okay. You told the court that, and it's in your report, that the reason for the stop was that my client did not have the 4 headlamps, is that correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Now, which transportation code are you referring to when you're talking about the 4 headlamp
It'd
requirement?
be transportation code 547. Which would be the maintenance of the equipment. Specifically for the headlights would be 547.333, which is turning off your headlamps from the brightness 500 feet upon approaching another vehicle.
Wait, but let's hold on a second because you're jumping the gun a little bit. Your reason for the stop, and according to your testimony, was that my client did not have the 4 headlamps, right? So, and we'll get into the brights in a little bit, but your testimony was that he had 3 functioning headlights, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Now, are you familiar with Transportation Code 547.321?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 547.321, correct me if I'm wrong, states that a motor vehicle shall be equipped with at least 2 headlamps. It doesn't talk about 4 or 3, just 2,
Yes, sir.
right? And in Mr. Davis's case, he had not only 2, he had 3 functioning headlights,
Correct.
right?
So-
Hold on, we'll get there in a second.
Right.
Okay, so now that we know he has 3 functioning headlights, okay? Your testimony is that you did a U-turn. So in other words, your dash cam recording of these 3 functioning headlamps is not on this dash cam,
Correct.
correct? Did you not record that?
From the way our dash cam is mounted, there's only 2 ways to activate it. That's by turning on our emergency lights or reaching over, which is across from my computer and activating
No,
it
no.
manually.
I get it, but very simply, that wasn't recorded, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
all right. Now, well, if you look at this video right here, Officer Enriquez, you told the court that as you drove parallel to my client's car, you were checking to make sure that my client had what he's supposed to when somebody is driving, right?
Yes, sir.
So you correctly stated that my client had a seatbelt on,
Correct.
right? I think you told the court that you ran his license plates, correct?
Correct.
And there was no warrants coming out for him,
Correct.
right? The car rightfully belonged to Mr. Davis, right?
Correct. Actually,
Um,
it belonged to family members.
Family.
His mother.
okay, but it wasn't identified as a stolen vehicle,
Correct.
right? According to you, the backlights or the tail lamps, excuse me, were working just properly, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so at this point, I think you also indicated that while you're parallel to him, Mr. Davis is not exceeding the speed limits, correct?
Correct.
He's not weaving in and out of traffic, right? He certainly does not almost hit you or caught, or,
Correct.
okay. All right. Now, starting the video at 2 seconds, now I'm gonna try to jump to the parts that the state asked you about. Stopping the video at 1:47 Officer Enriquez. This is, according to you, a shopping center to your left,
Correct.
right? And this also is to the left of the defendant's car,
Correct.
right? Now, you would agree with me that at this point, this area is still considered a construction zone, right?
Not that immediate
Not
area.
the main area,
Correct.
okay. But the area before it was construction
Yes,
zone?
sir, correct.
Okay. And so to the right of your car, which is also to the right of my client's car, there's nothing but dirt road and no lights.
Correct.
Right? Okay. So starting the video at 1:47. I'm stopping it at 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Officer Enriquez, I may have gone a little bit too far on the video, but again, to your left and to my client's left, we have, is it a car wash or a school?
No, that's a school.
That's a school, okay, so we passed the car wash,
Yes,
right?
sir, correct.
So the school, car wash, the shopping center, all these three locations were to the left of your vehicle and to the left of my client's vehicle, correct, right? To the right of the vehicle, we see nothing, right of my client's vehicle and your vehicle, we see nothing but dirt road and grass and areas that are not well lit or not able for somebody to park, right? Officer, I'm gonna show you or hand to you what's been marked as defense exhibit number 1. Are you familiar with this?
Yes,
Okay, what is it?
Texas driver handbook.
Okay.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the last part? You said Texas, and then I didn't hear the second.
The Texas driver handbook.
All right, thank you.
And the Texas Driver Handbook, is it published by the Texas Department of Public Safety?
Yes, it is.
Directing your approach, the state.
Yes.
This hearing shows how a courtroom can turn on one narrow question. Not every case depends on shouting, emotion, or a dramatic confession. Sometimes it comes down to timing, distance, video, and intent. The state focused on the delay. The defense focused on safety, lighting, construction, and the way the stop unfolded. Judge Boyd's role was to slow the moment down and measure the argument against the evidence. That is what makes a bench trial different. The judge is not just managing the courtroom. She is weighing every detail that could decide the case. Comment whether you think the 2-mile delay was enough, and subscribe for more real Texas courtroom breakdowns. Every ruling has a reason. Court Beacon TV shows you both.